friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. Today we are going to do a pick a card reading, and this is the winner of the last poll, which is going to be a soulmate check-in. So we are going to check in on what's going on with your soulmate, what's taking so long, any advice. We will do a reading breakdown for it shortly. But we have 3 options today. And this was supposed to be kind of like a 90s throwback, and I am going to explain what happened with option number 3 shortly. But option number 1 is Harvey Kinkle and Sabrina Spellman. Option number 2 is Cory Matthews and Topanga Lawrence, and this is from Boy Meets World. This is from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And option number 3 is Lucifer Morningstar with Chloe Decker, and that is they are from the Lucifer TV show. So, originally, option number 3 was going to be Kat and Patrick from 10 Things I Hate About You, but I just didn't like how the sticker was sitting on top of the card, so that's why it was changed last minute. But hopefully you still see the vision, you still see where we were going with this, and hopefully it still works out in the way that I wanted it to, at least with the options. But let's talk about what you can expect, what we are going to cover in this reading, and then we can jump in. All right, so this reading is going to be a Where is my soulmate soulmate check-in, and we are going to start by looking at your current energy. So what's happening, what's the vibe, and we are going to look at your soulmate's current energy. That is going to give us a picture as to what's happening right now, what's going on, who are you both in this moment. We will then look at what kind of person is your soulmate. And the reason for that is because when we are doing the energy check-in, we are going to kind of drop in and look at current energy. But I want to know what kind of person your soulmate is, just in general, who they are at their core. Then we're going to jump into how will this relationship differ from previous ones. For those of you that have never been in a relationship, this could be information on just maybe how it's going to differ from your expectations, or just take it as it resonates. We will then move into what will the foundation of this relationship be like? So what is this foundation that you're going to build together? We are going to look at the kind of love that you need, and then the current obstacles preventing you from uniting at this point in time. And when I'm looking at this, I am looking at both energies, but I can only give advice to you, my viewer. And then we are going to end the reading with some advice that is meant for you, my viewer, specifically. So, if this sounds like something that you're interested in, something that meets your current needs, stick around. We're about to get started. If this is where you drop off, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you come back soon. All right, let's get into it. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Harvey Kinkle and Sabrina Spellman from the Sabrina the Teenage Witch show. Goodness, that's a mouthful. Sticker. And I'm going to place that right over here. Maybe. There we go. That works. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown for this at the beginning. It's timestamped below. I highly suggest you check that out because that's going to tell you exactly what this reading will answer and everything you need to know to figure out if this is something that is going to fit your needs for today. Finally, we are going to start by looking at your current energy and the current energy of your future spouse. This is meant to help you decipher if this is the right pile for you. My intention is that my viewer is on the left and your soulmate, I think I said future spouse, your soulmate is on the right. So it could be that the energies are flip-flopped where you can relate to this more so than this, or it could be that you find yourself in both people. If you do not resonate on this side or this side, then this is probably not your pile, and I suggest picking a different pile. Or it could just be that this specific reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. Let's get started. So as a reminder, we're looking at current energy, current vibe, what's currently happening in both of these people's lives. So person number one is coming across as the sea serpent with the rabbit, the quiet one, and insight. Oh, okay. Person number two is being represented by the swan. And remember, this is current energies. The beaver, torn, and grounded. Okay. So let's talk about it. I'm still going to mention the zodiac signs because I know that you all love it when I do that. It can serve as additional confirmation. So for the sea serpent person, or the person on the left, the sea serpent in this deck really is represented by spirit. So it could be any of the 12 signs. So we honestly have just about everybody represented. That being said, we also have the rabbit, and the rabbit is earth energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We also have the quiet one, which I would also say could be earth or air. So we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn again, with a little bit of Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and I would say insight is absolutely that I would also qualify as air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We'll talk about the swan person when we get there, but for this sea serpent, so what's currently happening for the sea serpent rabbit person? I think this is somebody who is currently doing a lot of emotional healing. I think this is someone who is focused on themselves and self-improvement at this time. This feels like someone who is very much focused on what they're trying to manifest. But there's an emphasis here of I'm trying to create from a place of balance. I am trying to create from a place that feels good to me. And I think that the sea serpent person has been going through a lot of emotional healing and a lot of the wounds that they carry. And this feels like for this sea serpent person, right now there's a lot of introverted energy around them. Now, I don't necessarily know that it's because this person is an introvert or it's because of everything that they're working on, that they're kind of in this introverted energy, this going within, this kind of doing the work. And I don't want to say isolating, but I definitely think this person is very focused inward at this point in time. And I think part of what the sea serpent is currently working on is healing not only the emotional wounds, but healing the relationship to self. Because I think that the sea serpent person has a very self-critical voice. And this is somebody who is learning how to talk to themselves and how to almost be there for themselves. I think that the sea serpent is also learning how to be okay with wherever it is that they are, because I think that this is somebody who tends to put a lot of pressure on themselves about where they should be or what they should be doing or how they should respond, how they should react. There's a lot of shoulds that this person is dealing with. And I also think that this person is learning how to express themselves in a way that feels good to them, in a way that feels healthy, and in a way that feels encouraging. Because again, there's a lot of, I think this is someone that has dealt with and is probably still dealing with a level of perfectionism, a level of self-criticism, and maybe even some procrastination. This is somebody who can be very hard on themselves. And what's interesting about the sea serpent is that they can also be the most welcoming, most warm and loving person to others. But when it comes to self, they kind of have this inner voice. And I think that what the sea serpent is working on and discovering at this time is, where does that originate from? And I think for some, what the sea serpent is realizing is that this goes back to inner child wounds, and this goes back to perhaps their younger years. So they're doing a lot of work in those areas. I also think the sea serpent right now is healing around relationships and what their expectations of relationships are, but also what they're willing to allow someone to get away with almost in a relationship. I think the sea serpent is gaining self trust, but also the sea serpent is working on self love, especially when it comes to their body and being comfortable in their body, being comfortable with who they are, how they look, and how they show up. I would not be surprised if there's some healing happening when it comes to intimacy and the sea serpent's comfortability when it comes to intimacy, like how comfortable they are with intimacy, how comfortable they are with being seen. And I'm not only talking about physical intimacy, but just being able to show up and say, this is all of me. And can you accept that? Can you love that? And also, another thing that's happening here for the sea serpent is that the sea serpent is becoming more comfortable in expressing their needs, desires, and almost like speaking up for themselves and saying, you know what, this is what I need, and this is what I need from you, and this is how I need you to show up. And what's so beautiful about that is that I think that the sea serpent has struggled with insecurities and with fears around maybe being too much, or maybe insecurities around not finding the right person, or not finding someone that can truly appreciate them for who they are. And one thing that I think that the sea serpent is becoming more comfortable with is sitting in their truth and not having to over explain, not having to overextend themselves. This feels like somebody who is healing from like an anxious attachment style, or somebody who is healing from unhealthy codependency. And I want to emphasize here, we're humans, we're meant to be codependent. And also, in my opinion, attachment styles can change, and they will change. And some people will trigger certain things within us because of how they show up. But I think overall, that's kind of where this sea serpent person is at. And they're becoming comfortable with their sensitivity. They're becoming comfortable with who they are, and being in the truth of who they are. And again, right now, this is a time where this person is like really focused within. I would not be surprised if this is somebody that is like in therapy or working with a coach or doing journaling at this time. It feels like there's a lot of active work that the sea serpent is partaking in to get to the other side of this. And I also think that the sea serpent at this time is quite intuitively connected. The third eye, this is reminding me of the third eye. I think the third eye is quite active at this point in time. And I also think that the sea serpent is realizing and recognizing in which ways they sometimes self-sabotage. And what's beautiful about this is that the changes are being made. This isn't just, I'm realizing this, what do I do with this? This is, I've realized this, now I am going to change it because this is no longer what I want to experience out of life. There is a lot of synchronicity for this person. So if you are the sea serpent, being aware of your surroundings, paying attention because you're receiving a lot of guidance. And also, your spirit guides, your spirit team is incredibly proud of the work that you are doing. And I think that that's what's going to bring in the type of connection that you are seeking. Now let's talk about the swan person, right? And to talk about the zodiac signs really quickly, with the swan, we have water energy. The beaver is also water energy. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, heavily represented. We also have torn and grounded, which is earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, heavily represented. So let's talk about what's going on with this soulmate, with this swan person. I think that the swan person and the sea serpent are absolutely mirroring one another wherever they're at in their journey, whether you know this person or not. And I think right now for the swan, they're kind of in this creative energy where they are focused on their work, they are focused on their projects, they are focused on the life that they are creating. This feels like a very intentional time for the swan person. And I think both of these people are spiritual to some degree. And I think that the swan person is currently really leaning into spirituality and leaning into creation, right? So it almost feels like this person is fully tapped in with their higher self, fully tapped in with the universe and creating from a place of connection. And I almost think that this swan person is so focused on what they're doing that it almost feels like they're also in a place where they may be very introverted at this point in time. And as I said for the sea serpent, the same thing applies for the swan. I'm reading their current energy. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's that they are an introvert or they're just in this place in their life where they're kind of focused in and doing what they need to do and not really it's almost like they're focused in on what they're doing, and because of that they're not really paying attention to too much or spending too much time with other people. But for this swan person right now, they're leaning into their power of creation and they're leaning into their vision. And I think that spirit has been calling this swan's attention for a while. And they are finally not only listening to the call, but they are grounding themselves in the present moment and doing what needs to be done. And one thing about the swan person is what they're doing for work or what they're focusing on feels very much in alignment with their purpose. This is somebody who truly is enjoying the work that they're doing. So if this person has a career, if this person has a job, or maybe they just have a side project, like they are tuned in and they are flowing and they feel super connected. This is somebody who is tuned into their purpose and working towards their purpose. And one thing about this swan person is that right now they're so focused on work. Like, I don't think they're realizing two things. One, how exhausted they are, because I think that they are a little close to a burnout, if you will. It's a little close to being drained, exhausted, all of those things. But I also don't think they are realizing how much they are ignoring other aspects of their life, I should say. But this swan person is really working on creating stability for themselves and stability that is going to stand the test of time. And I also think that the swan person is working on healing, similarly to the sea serpent person. But I think the way that they're going about it is very different, because it feels like the sea serpent is doing the work and it's very clear what type of work that they're doing. And it feels like the swan person is doing healing, but they're doing healing through their actions and through creating something different for themselves. And this swan person is someone that in some shape or form is giving back, whether it's they are volunteering their time, whether it's they're donating money, whether there's something that this person is doing that they are passionate about that is giving back, and it's creating a lot of good karma for themselves. But I also think that the swan person is working so much that they're not fully dealing with everything that is coming up for them. And I think that that's why this torn card is there, because I think that this is somebody who at this time is being called to go within and to kind of check in, but it feels like this person is bypassing that and kind of just focusing on the tangible. So the energies are very similar in some ways, but the expression of it is different, because I feel like the sea serpent is going within and doing that inner work, whereas the swan person is focusing outside of themselves and doing the work in that way. And what's interesting is that I think both of these people are being called to do what the other one is already doing, if that makes sense. So it feels like the sea serpent is doing the inner work, and it almost feels like spirit is saying, all right, it's time to apply it. Whereas the swan is doing all of that outer work, but it's time to go within and also apply it in that way. I hope that makes sense in the way that I'm explaining that. But yeah, that's the current energy for these two. Let's keep going. So we are going to look at what kind of person is your soulmate. And this is going to answer, not only where are they right now, like what's going on with them now, but just as a person, who are they? What are their qualities? Who are they? And we have the Eight of Cups. Of course, I moved my cards. They look so pretty. All right. The Eight of Wands. Ooh, King of Pentacles. Okay. And then we have the Page of Cups. So, who is your soulmate? What kind of person are they? I really think for most of you, the swan is going to be the soulmate and you are going to be the sea serpent. But if not, if it's the opposite, apply it as it resonates. But your soulmate is somebody who I want to really talk about this King of Pentacles, because I do think this person has a level of earth energy, or they have the qualities of the earth signs to them. I think this is somebody who is extremely hardworking. I think this is somebody who is honest, reliable. I think this is someone who is incredibly determined. Like, this person will meet their goals and they're going to do what they need to do to get to where they need to be. And I also think material success and financial abundance is very important to your future. I keep wanting to say future spouse, to your soulmate. I also think at times your soulmate can be a bit set in their ways. And I also think this is somebody who can hyper focus and almost forget about other things. So what do I mean by that? This could be somebody that while they're working, they are so tuned into their work that they can work 8 hours and not eat anything, and then they're done and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. I need to eat something. So they can be absolutely super focused. I also think that your soulmate is somebody who knows how to do what's right for them. This is someone who's not going to put up with anyone's attitude. This is not somebody who's going to put up with someone mistreating them. This is not someone who's going to beg someone to stick around. Your soulmate knows how to walk away from someone, especially if they are not being treated right, if they are not being respected. And that also applies to situations. Like, this isn't somebody who's going to stay at a career or a job where they're being mistreated. This isn't somebody who's going to continue to invest their time and energy into something that isn't giving them what they need or a return in their investment. Your soulmate is someone who is very good at letting go and releasing and walking away from that which does not serve them. And your soulmate is someone who knows how to prioritize themselves, and even if it hurts, they are willing to walk away if it's not right for them. I also think that your soulmate is someone who is constantly looking at their surroundings and figuring out ways in which they can improve their they can improve themselves and what they are receiving in certain situations, but also improve what's around them. So this is somebody that if they go into a job or they go into a friendship, they are not afraid to bring up the things that require attention. So for example, if they're not the person who's like, this has always been done this way, so we have to keep doing it this way. They want to innovate, they want to make things more efficient. Your soulmate is also very creative because we have the Page of Cups here with the King of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. This is somebody who is very creative. This is also somebody who has big dreams for themselves and someone who is very much connected to those dreams and very much connected to the idea of we are going to make it better. We are going to get to where we need to be, right? I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep expanding. If this is my dream, I'm going to try. Even if I don't get there, I still have to try. That's the type of person your soulmate is. And I also think that this is somebody who remains fairly excited about their surroundings and what could possibly come next. Like they really enjoy thinking about the possibilities and thinking about what could happen. I also think that this is somebody who has the ability to really open their heart to other people. This is someone who is very romantic. I absolutely think your soulmate does enjoy romance and does enjoy connecting in that way. And as I said, this is somebody who's very innovative. They like security. They like to know and feel secure, like to know what's next and to feel secure. But they're also always looking for ways to improve upon what's always been done. Let's keep going. Pile number one. So we're going to look at how is this relationship going to differ from previous ones. So what's going to be different about this soulmate, right? What's going to be different about this connection, this relationship? We have the Tower. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles. And the Nine of Cups. Okay. I'm not going to lie, pile number one. I saw that Tower card and I was like, wait a minute, what? Okay. That makes more sense. So I think what's going to differ from this relationship with your soulmate, from this connection with your soulmate, is that things aren't going to feel as unpredictable. I also think that this is going to be someone that you are going to be able to build a life with. And both of you are going to show up and you are going to be on the same page with this person. This doesn't feel like someone who's going to play games. So if you've previously been in connections where there was like hot and cold, up and down, or like the person was saying one thing and doing another thing, or when you started there was a lot of love bombing and then next thing you know the person is pulling away, or if you've been used to dealing with like avoidant attachment styles or fearful avoidant attachment styles, this is not your soulmate. That's not them. No. We're not doing that. This relationship, this connection is going to be different because it's going to be reliable, because you're going to know where you both stand. You're going to be able to talk to one another. You are going to be able to, it's almost like you can know what to expect to some degree, and not in a way that's boring or not in a way that is stagnant. But there is this open line of communication. There is this moving forward and wanting to build the same things. And we have the Nine of Cups there. This is going to be someone that you are going to be grateful for, and this person is going to be grateful for you. This is going to feel like a wish fulfillment. This is going to feel like you are both on the same team, working towards the same things. And I also think that this relationship, this connection with your soulmate is meant to question, to challenge your beliefs around love and what was possible in love. And it's a brand new beginning as far as the type of relationships that you have previously engaged in and the type of relationships that you are going to engage in going forward. And I don't mean in a romantic sense, because I do think for some of you, this can absolutely be a future spouse. But I do feel like it's going to almost go into other areas of your life where, you know what, I'm not going to accept friends that are not reliable. I'm not going to accept any connection that doesn't meet my new standards or meet the standards that I have for myself and my connections going forward. And I think that something that's going to be different for my pile number ones, my group number ones, is that this is going to be someone that wants to build with you, that this is going to be someone that wants to plan a future with you. And I think when you connect with this soulmate, there's almost this understanding that we both want the same things, whatever that means for you, whether it's, we want to get married, we want to have children, we want to plan vacations, we want to buy a house together, whatever it is, it feels like you're both working towards the same things as a team. And there's no questions of, is this person in or out? What's going on with this person? They are going to be there. They're going to be holding your hand and they're going to show up with you. And there's a lot of potential here for success that is going to be evident to you from the beginning. And I always say, you both of you have free will. So what actually ends up happening is going to be up to both individual people. But from the beginning, it's like there is this potential, and it feels like an abundant relationship. I love that for you. Let's take a look at the foundation. So what is going to be the foundation for this connection? What is this foundation going to be built on? Stop it. We have the Tower twice. I love it when that happens, and that seems to happen so much when I'm doing the general readings. Anyways, Justice. Where do I want to put you? Okay, and then finally, Three of Wands. So when it comes to the foundation for this relationship, I think what's interesting is that this relationship, the foundation it's built on, is complete and absolute change from the past, from previous expectations, from previous connections. And what I mean by this is, like, it's almost like both of you are going to come together and say, whatever we experienced previously in connections, relationships, love, did not work. It did not work. It cannot work that way. So this is two people that are coming together to say, we have to build something from the ground up. We have to build something completely new, and we have to be conscious about how we are going to build this connection. Because neither one of you wants to deal with the chaos that has existed for one or both of you in the past. And I think for both of you, there is almost this new approach of, what I did in the past didn't work, and I know that it didn't work, and I know that there's almost this level of accountability here, that I know that I contributed to it in some way, whether it was by allowing certain things or whether it was by my participation. So I have to tear this down. I have to tear down how I used to connect, how I used to participate in relationships, and I need to build something completely new. Part of the foundation that this connection, this relationship with your soulmate is going to be built on is very karmic in nature. We have the Justice card here. There's a level of, you are meant to come together at a specific point in time. Now, I always say we have free will. What you do when you come together is up to you. But I truly believe that this is one of those people that you will at the very least meet. and that there is going to be an opportunity for something more. And wait a minute, I'm just realizing you picked Harvey and Sabrina. I'm doing this reading and I'm like, wait, this sounds like the last episode with the stones and they were soulmates, and that was so cute. For those of you that watched the show, for those of you that didn't, it's very good. You should watch it. But as far as the foundation, this is also a foundation that is going to be built on hope and on there's going to be a lot of excitement here. Like, it's let's build something completely new, and let's be not only optimistic, because I think sometimes optimism is not really grounded in reality, whereas this feels like this is going to be grounded in reality through action. But there is that sense of, we have that Three of Wands being there, that sense of we are manifesting something completely new. So the foundation is all about complete change, but also excitement of what's to come, and new expectations, and understanding that this is both of you moving in the right direction when it comes to connections and relationships. It's both of you creating something completely new for one another, and holding space in that way for one another. And as I said, I think for both of you, there's been relationships that perhaps have not been the easiest to deal with, or that taught you lessons about what you didn't want. And it's like you're both really going into this with that understanding, that knowledge, and saying, I want to build something completely new. And I want to put in almost like this little disclaimer here that for those of you that know who this is and you're just in separation with them, it could be that this is both of you building something completely new, especially because you know the way that we've done this has not worked for us, but we want this. We want to commit to this. So let's come together in a completely different way. Because it feels very intentional. It feels very mature. All right. Let's talk about the kind of love that you need. So my viewer, what's the kind of love that you need right now? Nine of Wands, interesting. Page of Wands, and Nine of Swords. Okay. First and foremost, there's a few messages coming through, so obviously take the ones that resonate. But first and foremost, we have the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords kind of flanking this reading, this part of it. And I think this speaks to what you need, pile number one, is to get out of the struggle. What you need is a partnership where you don't have to show up and do all of the work, or you don't have to be the one making things happen, and you don't have to be the one that feels like you're having to force things or plan things, and it may feel like you have to chase someone around, or it may feel like you're the one putting in the effort and the person is either not showing up, ignoring you, or gaslighting you in some way. The kind of love that you need, pile number one, is one that is kind, encouraging, one that allows you to push beyond the types of connections and relationships that you've experienced, one that is going to motivate you to be the best version of yourself. You need the kind of love that is going to encourage you, cheer you on, see you for who you are. The kind of love that you need is soft and gentle. It's the love that doesn't make you feel like you need to pretend to be something that you are not, or that you need to be the one providing and doing things for the other person, or that you need to fit yourself into some sort of mold to please someone else. The kind of love that you need is one that is based in trust, one that allows you to relax, one that doesn't have you so stressed out that you can barely keep up with your day, or that you can barely function because you're so stressed out because you're staying up at night wondering why your partner is not connecting to you, why this person is not doing what they said they would do. The kind of love that you need at this time is exciting. The kind of love that you need at this time is one that's going to allow you both to explore and get to know one another. It's one that is going to be passionate, one that is going to allow you to show up in your authenticity. And I also think for my pile number ones, you are ready to be soft. You are ready to be, I almost feel like for this group, and this is regardless of gender, I almost feel like for this group, there's a part of you that really wants to lean into your divine feminine, into being the one that's able to receive. And regardless of gender, everyone wants to feel seen. Everyone wants to feel appreciated. So there's a softness here that is ready to come through. And I think that you're ready for the kind of love that is going to allow you to be who you are and encourage you to be who you are. Where this person isn't judging you or making you feel wrong for being just who you are. Let's take a look at what are the current obstacles. So why haven't you met, or why haven't you come together with this person? The Lovers, the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, Seven of Swords. Okay, let's talk about it. Pile number one. So what are the current obstacles that are showing up here? I think there are a few. And I don't necessarily think they're all something that is on your side, pile number one. I think some of it could be on your soulmate side. But I think that a big thing that's happening for this group is that there's been a focus on self. And I think that's a very necessary thing. So it's not like, oh, you've been focused on yourself and because of this, your person can't connect with you. I think for both of you, there is a strong focus on self at this time, on being the best version of yourselves, and on, maybe I just needed a break from dating, from connecting with someone else. Like it feels very purposeful, at least for one of you, where I needed to focus on myself. I need to take care of the things that are coming up for me. I also think for one or both of you, there's almost been this energy of I've lost myself in the past and I had to find myself. And this kind of feeds into that previous message that we just talked about, where I need to find who I am. I need to find myself before I can connect to someone else. Because what I've realized is that in certain ways, I was not ready to connect again or to open up again. And I also think, kind of to add on to those two messages, there's been almost this realignment and this redefining of what the expectations are going to be in a relationship. So a lot of that feels very internal, and it feels like it's something that needed to happen for both, where I just need to, it's like, let me just take care of me, do what I need to do, focus on myself, and figure out what do I need, and how I'm going to how I'm going to get there, and how it's almost like if I kept going the way that I was going, I wasn't going to be able to move forward in the way that I wanted to. So that's almost like a little bit of a timeout. I also think there's been a level of working with the belief system, and that kind of goes into the expectations and all of that. But I think for both of you, there's been a big focus on connecting to spirit in some way, whether it's by manifesting certain opportunities for yourselves or by doing inner work. And I think that this is also speaking to there's a level of divine timing at play here. There's a level of it's just not fully ready. And I think for both of you in the recent past, if not currently, there's also been some things, some bigger things outside of yourself, or some things that have felt very big that you've had to deal with in order to kind of get to the right place where you are able to open yourself to a relationship. And another thing here is I think both of you have been building up confidence. Both of you have been building up the self in order to be able to open to connecting with someone. And with the Seven of Swords being here, the Seven of Swords is I need to be honest with myself. And I think with this Seven of Swords being here, this represents like just that reconnection to self. Again, like finding yourself. So for this group, it feels like, to be completely honest, it's kind of good news. And I'm sure for some it's going to be like, well, that's not good news. It almost feels like divine timing and both of you going through a process that is kind of holding this back a bit. Let's look at some advice that I have for you. Pile number 1. So we're going to start by looking at these cards here. And we have journal, write, process, contemplate, understand your sacred journey. And I think, especially if you're the sea serpent person, I think that's already been happening for you. But this part of the advice, I think, is speaking to, continue to do the work. Journal if you need to, continue to work through this as things come up. And here's the thing. I don't think on your side, pile number 1, and even on your soulmate side, I don't necessarily think there's anything really holding this back. I think now it's more about the universe orchestrating a meeting point where both of you can meet and come together or reunite. I think this is a group where there could be a reunion. Rise above drama, obstacles, pettiness, find the strength to rise. And that's what you're doing. Pile number 1, that's what you're doing, and continue to do that. Continue to focus on yourself. Continue to work towards being the best version of yourself. And don't feed into any negative thinking. Don't feed into just pessimism or just drama, like this says. Like, you will meet your person. You will connect to your person, and taking the steps as you are guided to take them, right? So I've always said this, where can you meet your person? What would your person be doing if you were together? What would you both be doing if you were together? Seek that person out in that way, because I think sometimes, especially in the modern society, we've gotten so comfortable with like everything is a click away. So it can make connecting and finding people to connect to very hard. But as you continue to live your life and do what you need to do for yourself and what you are being guided to do, you create opportunities to meet this person. As I said, for this group, I don't feel like it's, there's something super specific that is holding it back as far as you individually or your spouse. I keep saying spouse, your soulmate. It's more of just the process and allowing that process to unfold. So I picked one astrology card that is meant to be advice for you as well. Let's see what we have. Scorpio, investigate. So Scorpio energy, shadow work. Scorpio energy, Scorpio rules the 8th house. Shadow work, continuing to work on the limiting beliefs. Also mystery, right? Scorpio energy is absolutely shrouded in mystery sometimes divine timing. You're not meant to necessarily predict how or when this is going to happen. Just trust that it will. And for those of you, again, that picked that card, like Harvey and Sabrina, if you know their story, you know there was even a break and they had seemingly moved on, and then they came back together, and life kept bringing them together. And that's the thing about your soulmate. You will connect with your person. What you both do once you connect is up to you, but I think for this group especially, it's you're going to at the very least meet this person. Let's see. Final advice for my pile number 1 is compassion. I choose compassion over criticism. Walking a mile in other people's shoes remind me they might be going through something tougher than I think. Like their shoes are too tight, or they're the kind of shoes that are too casual to be dressy and too dressy to be casual. Basically, I have no idea what they're dealing with privately, so I'll cut them some slack and be thankful for the shoes I've been dealt. I love that. And for pile number 1, turn that compassion on yourself. Because I think that sometimes it's harder for you to show that compassion to yourself. And you deserve that. I love this. Okay, we have surrender here. Yeah, there's a level of like surrender. And I know you all probably hate me right now, but I have to give you the messages as they come through. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are forthwith, officially and undoubtedly declared for the birds. I don't know why. That just threw me all sorts of off. Pile number 1. It's coming. I know it's hard. I know you're probably sick of hearing that. Please don't give up hope. Please continue to trust. Don't let the limiting beliefs take over. Don't let that narrative that you have take over. Don't let fear take over. But pile number 1, that is what I have for you. Claim this reading. Let's see. What is your affirmation? This is hard because I have to come up with these right on the spot. And most of the time I forget right till the end, and then I have to come up with it super quickly. All right, pile number 1. Here we go. I surrender to love and offer myself compassion. I surrender to love and offer myself compassion. I think those are two big themes for you. But please let me know what else you'd like to see next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share if you think the video is worth sharing. All the things that help me out that YouTube loves when you do. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk very soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Cory Topanga Lawrence sticker from Boy Meets World, also from Girl Meets World. So let's place that right. My mushrooms are not going to hold this, are they? I probably gotta edit out how long it's gonna take me to stand that sticker up. Anyways. Pile number 2, as a reminder, this is going to be a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown for this reading. It is time-stamped below. It's going to cover exactly what this reading is going to answer and everything we are going to look into. I highly suggest checking that out so you know if this is the right reading for you. We are going to start the reading by looking at your current energy and your soulmate's current energy. My intention is that my viewer is on the left and your soulmate is on the right. Sometimes it happens that the energies are flip-flopped, so you could be on the right, your soulmate could be on the left. And it could sometimes also happen that you identify with both energies, which is normal because most of the times there is some level of mirroring happening when it comes to soulmates. But if you do not relate with this energy or this energy, this is probably not your pile. Try choosing a different one. But let's get started. So we have the earthworm, the lamb, entangled. There's a lot of bright colors here. And, ooh, love. Okay. For the soulmate or person number 2, we have the black egg. We have the crow. We have eternity. And finally, we have receptivity. Let me just look at this card pile number 2 because YouTube hates a cartoon not having clothes on. But there's nothing showing there, so they better not give me any issues. All right, so we're going to start by talking about the earthworm and what's the current energy for this person. Before we get started, I do want to mention the zodiac signs because I know that you all love it when I do that, so take it as extra confirmation. But if your zodiac sign is not called out, it doesn't mean that it's not your reading. It's just not coming up as your zodiac sign. So we have the earthworm and lamb are both, actually, earthworm, lamb, and entangled are all earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The love card would be water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces represented. We will talk about the black egg person when we get there. So for this earthworm person, I think there is, it feels like this earthworm person is currently going through a period of time where they're kind of withdrawing. This almost feels like, and I don't want to say isolation, but this does feel like separation, like separating themselves or keeping themselves separate from others. And I think that this earthworm person is a bit reluctant. That's the word. There's a level of reluctance here. I would not be surprised if this earthworm person is just feeling a bit self-conscious, if this earthworm person is feeling a bit defeated at this time, if this earthworm person is feeling trapped in some way, because we have the entangled card here as well. But the thing is, the earthworm person is incredibly intelligent. The earthworm person is incredibly honest. But also the earthworm person is a bit overwhelmed at this time. And I almost keep being brought back to the similarities between the earthworm and the entangled card. Because if you look at the earthworm, it almost feels like it's tangled up, and then you have this card where this person is tangled up with her hair. So there's almost this like feeling tied up, feeling like you are not necessarily in control if you are the earthworm. And it could be that the earthworm is feeling very confused and very overwhelmed at this time. And I almost feel like the earthworm is holding back in some way. Like there's something that wants to be said, there's something that wants to be expressed. But maybe the earthworm doesn't have the confidence or even the energy to express themselves at this time. And it feels like the earthworm has a lot of inner knowledge and a lot of insights about self and a lot of self-awareness. But it also feels like this earthworm can sometimes see things in a distorted way when it comes to self. So it could be that the earthworm, instead of seeing how tenacious, how strong, how courageous they are, they see themselves as not courageous enough, or like something is missing, something is lacking. This is somebody who can be very difficult on themselves. And this earthworm person, I think one of the biggest things that this person is seeking right now and wanting to feel is peace and harmony. And I also think that this person is really struggling with patience at this time. It almost feels like the earthworm is just sick and tired of waiting, sick and tired of things not going their way, or things not arriving in a specific time frame. And the earthworm is very intuitive. I absolutely think this is somebody who's very clairvoyant, clairsentient. So clear seeing, clear feeling. But I also think that the earthworm is so sensitive to energies that sometimes their system becomes almost overridden, or they shut down from so much that they're able to receive and tap into. And I think that this earthworm person has so much wisdom, but they're also so exhausted, so tired. And it also feels like this person has reached a point where they're so enmeshed in their own situation that it's hard to take a step back and see the bigger picture. But the thing is, the earthworm is such a gentle person, such a loving person, such a caring person, that even when they are tired and exhausted, and even when they are ready to give up, they still continue to show up for others. And I think for some, if you are the earthworm, it could be that you have a career or a job where you are helping other people in some way. And it doesn't even have to be people. It could be like helping others, like animals, just being a helper. Because it almost feels like no matter how tired and exhausted you are, or no matter how overwhelmed you are, you still keep going and you still keep showing up. And I think for some of you, it's just who you are, but also it could be a feature of your career. And I also think that the earthworm is being called upon by the inner child, by their inner child, to do some healing towards the inner child. And it feels like for the earthworm, bringing in more playfulness, bringing in creativity, bringing in a more gentle approach could be very helpful. I also think that the earthworm is being called to work on their heart chakra and to connect to their heart chakra. There's a lot that's happening for the earthworm internally. So if you are the earthworm and you are avoiding going within, or you're just so busy, so overwhelmed, and you're trying to find answers outside of yourself, just know that there's an important message waiting for you, but you got to go within to find it, whether it's meditation, journaling, just contemplation, giving yourself a time out. There's something that wants to come in that is going to help you move forward in some way. And it's going to help bring in some form of clarity. And it's going to help you free yourself as well. But I want to talk about this black egg person. So when it comes to the zodiac signs, we have everyone represented because the black egg is a spirit card in this deck. So all 12 signs are represented, but we also have the crow, so air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have eternity, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we have receptivity, so the water signs. So pretty much everybody is represented. The water signs being Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And as I said, the black egg represents everybody. And what's happening for the black egg person right now, the current energy that they're in, is one of finding authenticity and finding their true north. This person is seeking purpose. This person is seeking their truth. And this person is ready to live life in a new way. And I think that this person is actively working on creating a brand new life for themselves. And this black egg person, I think, is currently like just doing a lot of reading, a lot of researching. This could be like watching videos on YouTube, they could be on TikTok. Whatever it is, this person is in a place of learning and expanding and growing. And I think that the black egg person is right now very focused within. And I think that the black egg person is really questioning who they are and how they got to this place and this point in time and where they are going to go from here. And this black egg person, I think, is undergoing a spiritual awakening, maybe for the first time, because it almost feels like whatever they thought to be true, whatever they thought to be a fact, is now being questioned. So it's like, what is this world around me? What do I believe in? Who am I, right? Who am I? Who is this world? So it almost feels like this black egg person is going through a period of time where they are truly questioning everything and everyone. So this feels like a spiritual awakening, and this feels very like a very significant point in time for this person. And what I also think that this black egg person is doing is that they're holding themselves accountable for actions that they have taken that have not been in alignment with how they view themselves, or at the very least, how they want to view themselves going forward. And this black egg person is seeking connection. This black egg person is seeking to connect to like-minded individuals. And I think that to some degree, the black egg person is going through a period in time where they may have lost relationships or connections that at some point in time were very important to them. It almost feels like this person is outgrowing certain people in certain situations. And this black egg person is finding their truth and finding themselves. And the more they discover about who they truly are, the more space that they're making in their life for what they want to bring in. And I think that this black egg person, as I said, is going through a spiritual awakening. And for many, this is going to be their first spiritual awakening. And their third eye is quite open at this time. And this is a person who is right now observing their surroundings and observing themselves. They are learning a lot about themselves and their surroundings. And I think that this person is struggling with keeping themselves grounded at this time, if I'm being honest. Like, they're really trying to keep themselves grounded. And the black egg person is really kind of trying to come to terms with the past while trying to ground themselves in the present and come up with a clear vision for the future. So this feels like somebody who's really going through it in some ways at this point in time. And I think a big thing that the black egg person is seeking right now is clarity. And I think another thing that this black eggs person is really seeking right now is connection. And I think that they are opening themselves up to the idea that they are ready for a deeper connection. Because I would not be surprised if whoever this black egg person is, if in the past they wanted to keep things casual, or if they kept themselves isolated to some degree when it came to relationships, especially romantic relationships. And I think another thing that's coming up for this black egg person is that they want to go deep. They want to be able to connect with someone who's going to get them, who's going to see them, who is going to meet them at the level they're at this point in time. And I think when it comes to friendships and when it comes to just connections in general, this is part of the reason that they're kind of separating themselves from some of the people from their past. And another thing is that this person is currently, it feels like there's currently a focus on being more healthy, on focusing on their health and overall well being. So I think that has to do with like the way that they take care of their body, the type of things that they're eating. So there's like a major transformation happening here. And here on the earthworm side, it feels like there's just like a lot of overwhelming feelings, a lot of sensitivity, and almost like feeling a bit trapped at this time. Let's talk about, so we're going to look at what kind of person is your soulmate, because this is meant to tell you what's going on currently. As we get into like who is this person, what are they like as a person, is meant to give you more of an insight as to who this is. So let's take a look. We have the 5 of Wands. Ooh, the King of Cups. Every time I put this card down in this position, everything else moves. And the 6 of Cups. All right. So, pile number 2. Sorry, I had to fix that. Who is your soulmate as a person? I want to start with the King of Cups, because I think your soulmate is somebody who is spiritual. Your soulmate is someone who is emotionally intelligent, emotionally available. I also think that your soulmate is someone who brings in this sense of peace and harmony into your life, into your space. And your soulmate is somebody who can be very patient. Your soulmate is someone who has a very open heart chakra, and it's very interesting because I think both of these people definitely have a strong connection to the heart chakra. Your soulmate is somebody who can be very nurturing. This is someone who is very supportive, especially emotionally. I feel like your soulmate is very emotionally supportive. I also think that your soulmate is somebody who, they carry the weight of the world within themselves. And what do I mean by that? Like, I feel like your soulmate is someone who feels very responsible for their actions, and they feel it's important to be the best version of themselves, and they can kind of really be hard on themselves when it comes to mistakes that they've made. But on the other hand of that, they also try to be someone who learns from their mistakes, and they try to be better, right? So this is somebody who's trying to be better than what they were yesterday. Somebody who's trying to make better choices than the ones that they were making. And I have to say, I do think your soulmate is someone who could probably benefit from learning more about self-care, because I think that they're very good when it comes to taking care of other people, but they can be very hard on themselves and they can kind of ignore their own needs at times. Your soulmate is somebody who is very much always looking to push themselves even further. I feel that your soulmate is very ambitious. I feel that your soulmate is somebody who is constantly looking to surpass their previous achievements, their previous levels. I do think, I have to say it because it's here, but I also do think your soulmate can be a bit competitive. I think it's something that they are aware of and something that they actively work on, but sometimes they can be a little bit too competitive and a bit petty when it comes to competition. Like, this is somebody who is a bit of a sore winner. If I had to kind of say something along those lines, I don't feel like it's too terrible, but I want to mention it because it's coming up. But at the same time, your soulmate is very supportive of others. It's almost like they may get a bit involved when they're in a competition or when they're trying to win something, but overall this is somebody who is very supportive of other people. Somebody who is very encouraging of other people. I don't know if you heard that, but I feel like I just heard a crow. It sounded like a crow. Sometimes we do have them around here. But this is somebody who is very supportive of other people. I think your soulmate is also someone who they build connections and they care deeply about the connections that they build. So once they connect with somebody, they care deeply and they want the best for that person. I also think this is somebody who is very grateful and very much able to see the blessings even when it's a blessing in disguise. I think your future sorry, I keep wanting to say future spouse. I think your soulmate is also someone who they're very focused on the future and on what they want to achieve in the future. And they want to experience something different than what they had growing up. For some, it's because the childhood or some of the experiences in childhood weren't the easiest. All right, so let's take a look at how will this relationship, this connection, differ from previous ones. So what is going to be different about this relationship, this connection, than your previous ones? We have the Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. Talk about seven galore. And the Lovers. Okay. So pile number 2. When it comes to how this relationship, this connection is going to be different from previous ones for you, I think a big thing is going to be that this connection, this relationship is one where you're both investing in one another and you're both choosing one another. And if you've been in connections where either you didn't feel like the first option or you didn't feel like a priority, that's going to be completely different when it comes to this connection, this relationship, because your soulmate is going to make you feel like you are a priority. You are going to be able to make them feel like a priority as well. I also feel like if you've dated or been in a relationship with someone who had a bit of a wandering eye, like they were kind of just keeping their options open, or they were very flirty, they were kind of borderline disrespectful, this is going to be completely different from that as well, because I feel like you both, again, you're choosing one another and you're fully in. Whereas previously with the Seven of Cups, it could be that some of you dealt with, you know, either somebody was playing games or somebody was like being very flirty, somebody wasn't really being respectful, or somebody was trying to keep their options open. There is this level of I'm going to fully choose you and that's it. There's no one else for me. I don't have to keep looking. I don't have to be sneaky. I don't have to be just a piece of crap, to be honest, because who does that? I also think that when it comes to this relationship, it's going to be different in the way that I almost feel like there's a level of security that comes with this relationship where both of you feel fully safe and secure and you feel like you made the right choice. So it's not like I have to question, am I with the right person? Did I choose the right thing? It feels like both of you are very confident that you are in the right relationship. And again, there's no wandering eyes. Also, this is going to be different because there's going to be a lot of appreciation and gratitude here. This feels, you know, this is a soulmate reading, but it's absolutely a soulmate relationship where it feels like your person is fully in, your person is fully dedicated, and there's appreciation and gratitude for who you are and what you bring to the relationship, and vice versa as well. And I also think that this is going to be different in the sense of, if you've been ghosted, obviously this person is not going to do that. But also, this person is not going to give up. Like, it's not like, oh, well, this isn't perfect, so I'm going to give up and I'm going to walk away. There's dedication here. There is commitment here that is going to be made and that is going to be honored, right? Because people can commit, but they don't necessarily honor that commitment. Your soulmate will absolutely honor their commitment to you. And I also think that what you're going to notice is that as time goes by, instead of feeling like you are feeling more disconnected from your partner, you are going to feel more connected, more in tune, and like you are exactly where you belong. And it's going to feel like you're headed in the right direction, like you found your person and you're both headed in the right direction. This is also going to be somebody that is going to be available, like fully emotionally available. I don't know if you dealt with people that kind of were just very wishy-washy or just unsure, or they said one thing one day and then switched it up the next day, but that's not going to be this connection. There's going to be a lot of trust and a lot of love here. And I think both of you are going to have healthy boundaries when it comes to the connection as well. Like, there's that level of you're going to be able to speak up and say, this is not okay. I am not okay with this for X, Y, and Z reasons. And your person can say, I can understand that. Let's, I won't do that again, or this is how we can move forward. It feels like there's going to be boundaries. There's going to be a lot of respect here. And this feels like healthy boundaries, right? And there's also a level of like, I'm in this relationship, but I'm not going to lose myself to this relationship. I'm not going to have to conform myself or become something that I'm not in order to be in this relationship. Let's talk about the foundation of this relationship. What is this relationship going to be built on? What is this foundation? So we have the Three of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Star card. All right, pile number 2. So as far as the foundation, first and foremost, this is going to be a friend. This is going to be somebody that you truly like one another, you enjoy one another, you respect one another. And we have the Three of Cups here. So it's, yes, we have the romance. Yes, we have the passion. Yes, we have the intimacy. But underneath all of that, what we have is a true friendship. What we have is true respect for one another, like as a person, for one another. Just, even if you weren't my partner, I would want you in my life. Even if you weren't my partner, I would enjoy getting to know you and spending time with you. So that mutual respect, that friendship is at the core. And I think that part of what this foundation is built on is a foundation of friendship. It's a foundation of respect, of just mutual respect as well, and admiration for who the other person is. Not just because, I know you and I like you and I'm attracted to you. It's so much more than that. I also think that one of the foundations for this relationship is going to be both of you building something new together and building your relationship skills and your confidence being in a relationship with one another. So this feels like we're going to take the lessons that we learn previously from different relationships or from different experiences, but also from this very relationship. And we're going to continually check our foundation and make sure that it's built to last. So if that means that we have to kind of take something apart and rebuild it while we're in this relationship for that foundation to continue to be strong, that's what we're going to do. And I also think that a lot of what this foundation is going to be based on is being able to be honest and to communicate with one another so that there are no resentments. So that there is no long-term resentment that builds up as you move through this relationship, and then you get to one point in the future where it cannot be fixed. So it feels like this is two people very actively working on the relationship, and at the base of this is friendship, and it continues to build on through, both of you being confident, both of you communicating, both of you being honest. A big thing that is also important to both of you is peace and harmony in a connection. And I think that that is something that's very necessary for both of you, so that you can feel like there's no drama. And obviously things come up because it's relationships, we're humans, things are going to come up. But this isn't a relationship that feels like it's going to be built on drama, or that there's going to be a lot that comes up that needs to be constantly dealt with. Because it feels like for both of you, it's so important to have that safe space for you to go into and for you to connect with the other person. And we have the Star here. This is like the card of healing, but it's also the card of a wish granted, right? Wish upon a star. So the foundation for this is wish fulfillment. The foundation for this is spirit, the universe, sending what you've asked for. And then there's almost a sense of renewed hope for both of you when you are building your foundation with each other. So I almost wonder for this group if it's, I've had a very difficult relationship, or I've had very difficult connections where this feels like, this feels light, this feels good, this feels safe, and this feels like it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. There is a sense of almost this feels like destiny to this. So let's take a look, pile number 2, at the kind of love that you need. So what is the kind of love that you need right now? 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, 7 of Wands. Did we have the 7 of... No, we had the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, pile number 2, let's talk about the kind of love that you need at this time and the kind of love that this soulmate can bring into your life at this time. First and foremost, you need stability in love. You need to feel like things are stable, like things are not going to be, like the rug isn't going to be pulled from underneath you when it comes to love. And you need the type of love that is secure, enduring, lasting. And you need the kind of love that comes from a place of self-love as well. Because pile number 2, there's a saying, right, that you can only love another as much as you love yourself. And some people truly do not like themselves, much less love themselves. And I'm not in any way saying that you have to 100% of the time love yourself, but there has to be a level of self-love and self-respect that you have to have for yourself before you can give that to someone else. And that's the type of love that you need. You need the type of love of someone who is able to emotionally regulate themselves, of someone who is able to emotionally take care of themselves, And as they do those things, they can fill their own cup and then they can show up and give you love as well. And what you need in love is somebody who has the capacity for love, somebody who has the space for love in their life, someone who can open their heart to you, and someone who is truly ready to connect and truly ready to welcome you in. And sometimes people don't always have that ability, especially if they're still healing or if they're still dealing with past situations. So, the type of love that you need is the one that is ready, available, and for the taking. And I also think pile number 2, this is speaking to you needing the type of love that comes with healthy boundaries. The type of love where both of you are still your individual selves and you encourage one another versus try to control the other person. And for my pile number 2s, you need a love that is going to allow you to be vulnerable, that is going to allow you to share your ideas, to express yourself in the relationship. You also need a love that you do not feel like you have to protect yourself from. Meaning, you don't want to be in a relationship or be in a loving situation with someone that makes you feel unsafe emotionally or that makes you feel insecure. And some of this is like, well, duh. But that's what's coming through for this group very heavily at this time. And I also think pile number 2, you need the type of love that is able to share with you, to bring you into their life and to integrate you into their life. You don't need the type of love, you don't want the type of love that is going to keep you separate or that is going to keep you at an arm's length. Like, you want to be integrated into this person's life and you want to be able to integrate them into your life. Let's take a look at what are the current obstacles here. So what are the obstacles when it comes to connecting to your soulmate? Ooh, the 9 of Swords. Okay. Queen of Wands. Somebody is going through, yep, the Chariot. 9 of Pentacles. Okay. So I think the obstacles here when it comes to love, when it comes to connecting with the soulmate, and I want to emphasize that these obstacles apply to both, but I can only speak to you. I can't speak to your soulmate because they're probably not watching this. So these obstacles that are here, first and foremost, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anxiety here. There could be worst case scenario thinking. There could be a level of just, fearful, expecting the worst, thinking it's not going to happen, it's not going to work for me, it's not coming in. And I think that there's also just things that are happening for one or both of you that is really kind of drawing in your attention, and that makes sense. And this could very well be somebody going through the dark night of the soul, somebody going through a spiritual awakening, which I think the black egg person is absolutely going through, and I think it's possible that the earthworm person is going through as well. I think some of the obstacles here also have to do with independence and where one or both of you are at. Because I think that for one or both of you, and in some cases, I if I'm honest, it's going to be both of you. There's almost like this fear of taking a risk and meeting either the wrong person or realizing that the right person isn't out there. And I think part of the obstacles here is that one or both of you are still building up your confidence. One or both of you are still figuring out how to open up or how to truly go about this. And I also think this has to do with one or both of you kind of being focused elsewhere and your attention being drawn elsewhere. And it feels like for my pile number twos, right now there's a lot of focus on self, and it feels like that is by design for most of you, where it's you and your soulmate are both focused on self and kind of doing some inner work, and that's where you're being called to. And one or both of you may be like really working hard, whether it's career, finances, whether it's internal work. Someone could be going through some financial delays as well that's making it hard for them to date. Could be the black egg person that's coming through. Again, take these as it resonates. Someone may have an idea that in order for them to be lovable, in order for them to be able to connect, they have to have a certain status or they have to be at a certain level. That could be either or both, but I'm leaning towards the black egg person. But this is another one that it feels like when the time, and I know that you all hate when I say this, and it somebody's probably ready to just come through the screen and smack me. But this really does feel like these things are meant to kind of happen, and it's not that either of you are doing something necessarily wrong. It's just that this is where you're at on your journey. But the more you lean into who you are and being on your path and following your path, I think the closer this comes together. Let me actually look at the advice I have for you, because I did pull, see what these two are. Home, cozy, warm, secure. You feel at home with each other. That's what this connection relationship is going to be like. But let me see what else we have here, because that was advice for you as well. Big goals, career, business, success, claim your place in the world. You may meet this person, this soulmate, through work. This is the advice here for you, pile number 2, and I know some of you are going to hate this, but continue to focus on yourself, continue to build yourself up, continue to build your own security, do what you need to do, and especially if you're the earthworm, just know that there's nothing that you're doing wrong. There's nothing that you have to figure out. You don't have to necessarily earn this in any way. It's just about allowing it to unfold and continuing to go down your own path is going to it's going to connect you and bring you closer to this person. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear. Let's take a look at, I pulled a Astro card just to see what energies you need to work with. So let's see what we have for you. 8th house and mystery. So with the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, Pluto energy as well. So with the eighth house here, continue to do some of the shadow work, continue to work on limiting beliefs, continue to trust. For some of you, connecting with yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, connecting to yourself intimately, getting to know yourself more intimately. But also because it's the 8th house and there's mystery here, I don't think you're necessarily... this is also, I think, Spirit saying you're not necessarily supposed to know exactly how this is going to work out. Just trust that it will. And I also think there's a transformation that's going to be happening for this group, for you, if you chose this pile, and it's coming sooner than what you realize. It feels like you're gonna, if you haven't met this person yet, it could be almost like a bit of a surprise or unexpected meeting. Let's take a look at what we have here. We have rest. I take a step away from my stress and then a deep breath, and then a crankiness killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't, but I tried to, and then we can't, and it doesn't, but I did, so it wasn't. Ugh, good night. Yeah, make sure you're giving yourself breaks and make sure you're being kind to yourself. And then we have benefit of doubt. I believe in the basic goodness of other people and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. And there's a lot of fear and doubt for this group, I think, coming up right now. And later on, if I need to, I can always change my mind and retroactively judge them like it's my career. Pile number 2, claim it in the comments. I relinquish fear and doubt, and I welcome in love. That's your affirmation. It's about getting rid of that fear and doubt. Because even if you can't see it, even if you can't touch it yet, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen for you. And you are love. There is already love within your life. There is already love that exists. And this type of love will show up. And I think sooner than what you think. But pile number 2, that is what I have for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All the things that YouTube loves that help me out so much. Thank you for being here. Let me know what else you'd like to see next in the comments. I am so grateful for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk very soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Lucifer Morningstar and Chloe Decker sticker, which was actually supposed to be, I don't know why I keep showing this, but I will. It was actually supposed to be Kat and Patrick from 10 Things I Hate About You, because this was going to be 90s themed. But here we are. So I'm going to place this right over here. It's not going to stay, is it? There we go. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. For this reading, I did do a reading breakdown, and I highly suggest you check that out because that's going to tell you exactly what we are going to cover in this reading and what you can expect, and that way you know if this is the right reading for you. So to get started, we are going to look at your current energy and the current energy of your soulmate. For this specific reading, my intention is that you are on the left and your soulmate is on the right. That being said, it could be that the energies are flip-flopped, which is okay. And it could be that both of the energies sound like what you are currently going through, which is okay as well, as we tend to mirror our soulmates. But if you do not resonate with this side or this side, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different pile. Or it could just be that this reading doesn't have a message for you. But let's jump in. So person 1, or first person, is going to be the turtle. Okay, the raccoon. Resilience. Very interesting because the raccoon and resilience are very similar energies. And transcend. Person number 2 is being represented by the lizard, the eagle, innocence, and belong. Okay, very interesting energies. So we're going to start by talking about the turtle person. I will refer to this person as the turtle person. This person is going to be the lizard person. But before we get started, let's talk about the zodiac signs. I know that you all love it when I talk about them. As a reminder, if your zodiac sign is not represented, it doesn't mean that the reading is not for you. It's just take it as extra confirmation if it is represented. For the turtle card, we have water energy. So we have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. For the raccoon, we have earth energy. So we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have some more Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy here. And with transcend, we have air energy. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We will talk about the lizard person and possible signs there. But let's talk about this turtle person because I feel like the turtle is an ancient soul. This is somebody who is a wise soul. This is somebody who is wise beyond their years. But I also think that this turtle person right now may be going through it. It feels like the turtle person may be going through a little bit of a tough moment at this point in time, and they may be dealing with some things that are coming up for them that they have to take care of, that they have to interact with, that they cannot ignore. When it comes to the turtle person, I think this is someone who is going through a period of transformation right now. And I think that the transformation has to do with kind of leaving behind the old and welcoming in the new. And I have to say, I think that the turtle person is very uncomfortable with the unknown and very uncomfortable with change to some degree. Like, it feels like the turtle person really would rather be the one initiating change than having change kind of be thrust upon them. And I do feel that the turtle right now is probably feeling a bit stagnant, or at the very least it could be that this turtle person is kind of struggling to ground themselves and to feel grounded within their own energy. And it feels like this turtle person has a lot of life experience that they are able to draw upon right now. But at the same time, it feels like the energy here is a bit exhausted. And I will also say, I think that this turtle person may be struggling when it comes to sleep, or when it comes to resting, or when it comes to, even if they are sleeping, it just feels like they may not be getting restful sleep. And it feels like there's a lot of shadow aspects coming up for this turtle person to deal with. And they're struggling a bit. Like, honestly, if you are the turtle person, you're probably struggling a bit. But here's the thing. The turtle person is incredibly resilient. And the turtle person is not someone who is going to give up. And I think that the turtle person is really leaning into their skill set right now and leaning into previous experiences that are helping them kind of move forward. And one thing about the turtle person is that they are very creative. And they can find ways to get out of sticky situations. And I think that that's what the turtle person is working on as we speak, is how can I kind of get myself out of energy that is stagnant, that is making me feel stuck. And it feels like the turtle person is really leaning into, it could be like their circle, like there could be like one or two people that this person really trusts. It could also be their spiritual team, but it feels like this person is really leaning in and trying to get support wherever support is being offered. And it could even be like this person is like watching YouTube videos, this person is trying to connect to friends, this person is trying to read books, but it feels like my turtle person is really trying to lean in and find support. I will also say that I think that the turtle person is very good at hiding what is going on with them. So this is somebody that if they don't want you to know what's happening, they are going to hide that from the outside world. They're very good at wearing a mask. They are very good at going within their shell and keeping themselves protected. And I think that the turtle person at this time is also struggling to fully connect to their intuition, because I do think this is somebody who is very intuitive. I think this is somebody who is very wise, but I also think at this time there may be a level of disconnect. And I also think at this time this turtle person is struggling with their image around self and their ability to see themselves clearly for who and what they are. And this does feel, I mean, just like looking at the cards here as well, it does feel like there could be a dark night of the soul happening. It could be that this is just a very heavy time for the turtle. But one thing about, as I said, one thing about this turtle person is they're extremely resilient and they always find a way. And another thing is, the turtle is the type of person that they have to face their fears. This isn't somebody who can hide from themselves and somebody who can hide from what's happening around them. Like, eventually, even when there is a like freezing, paralyzing type of fear, the turtle person grows very tired and says, all right, I gotta face this. I'm gonna deal with this. And I feel like wherever this person is, and if this is you, wherever it is that you are, you're getting close to saying, you know what, I am ready to fully face this, and I'm ready to turn the page. I am ready to start a new chapter here. And I will also say, if you are the turtle person, I think really leaning in to some form of creative expression can be very helpful at this time, especially if you have to channel a lot of heavy emotions. I think it can be very helpful to like lean into some sort of creative expression. For some of you, I would not be surprised if you're like a writer, something about voice here. So it could be like, are you a singer? There's something about the voice that's coming through. Something about words as well. So writing, something with the voice, sharing your message in some way. And here's the thing. If you are the turtle person, there are many people that want to support you and want to be there for you. And if it's not a person, it's absolutely your spirit team. So it's either one or both, where there is support and there is a lot of encouragement forward. For some of you, if you are struggling with nightmares, it feels like it could be your unconscious mind is working through some things and there may be like nightmares coming up. It could be that you're struggling with sleep. It could be that you're struggling to connect to clarity, to find clarity. But let's talk about this this lizard person. So the lizard in this deck is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The eagle is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, innocence. To me, these two cards are more about Earth. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Again, those don't have to be your signs for this reading to resonate. I'm just mentioning them. So this lizard person, I think it's very interesting because these two people seem to be their current energies seem to be quite different on the outside looking in. Because this lizard person is going through a period of time where they're focused on identifying their dreams, identifying their desires, and figuring out what's next for them. And I think that this lizard person historically has struggled with being a bit flaky and maybe struggling to fully commit to the projects or the things that they take on. And I feel like right now the lizard person is being called to really check in with self and say, where am I on my journey, and where do I need to invest my time and energy into? So it feels like the lizard person is very much kind of trying to figure out next action steps. And as they are doing that, it feels like this lizard person is really connecting to their spirituality, especially their higher self. And I will say, I think that this is somebody who is undergoing a lot of transformation, very similarly to the turtle. But I think that the lizard person is really trying to find what their truth is at this point in time. I almost get like the energy of somebody who has kind of been playing around, or they've kind of been not taking everything as seriously as maybe they should have. And they're at this juncture in their life where they're being kind of asked by their higher self, because this person is super connected to their higher self. It's like a wake up call of like, what are we going to do moving forward? And I think that through this transformation, this person is kind of finding themselves again. And one thing about the lizard person is that the lizard person has struggled when it comes to control and trying to control outcomes. And their life right now feels completely out of control. So some of the energies are similar between these two people. But I also think that this lizard person is truly seeking a sense of belonging and a sense of not only belonging, but feeling like they are in the right place. A sense of alignment is what this person is seeking. And I think that this lizard person has had to kind of face a lot of their choices and decisions that have led them up to this point. And I also think what they've realized is that they had a bigger hand in getting to where they are than they previously thought. And I don't want to make it seem like I think this person is somewhere that's awful, but I think this person is not where they want to be. And I think that they're realizing that in order for change to happen, they're going to have to initiate it. So they are in this place of initiation. They are in this place of trying to kind of take control of their life and where it's headed through actions and through routines and rituals type of thing. So they're trying to make changes that are going to get them to where they want to be. So for example, if this is somebody who was not getting enough sleep, they may be trying to get to bed at a specific time. If this was somebody that would start a project and not finish it, they may be more cautious or more intentional about what they are going to do going forward. So there's a lot of just maturing that's happening for this lizard person. And it's also connecting them at a deeper level to the truth of who they are. And it's helping them realize what their priorities are and what's important to them as they move forward. And one thing that I have to point out is that this lizard person is very good at seeing something through once they are fully committed to it. So this is somebody that may be at times a bit flighty or may have struggled with committing to certain things or seeing things all the way through. But once this person locks in, they're going to see it through. And I think that that's what's happening, is that they are becoming laser focused on making the changes that they want to make. And I think for some, part of what is changing for the lizard is also how they are taking care of themselves and how they are putting effort into themselves. Let me see if anything else wants to come through before we get to the next part, because I feel like I'm missing something if I'm honest for this group. And I want to say between these two, I think the energies at first glance are very different, but I think the core of it seems very familiar. And part of me does feel like there's mirroring happening where like as one does some of the work, the other one is kind of moving forward. So this could be like a divine counterpart, high level soulmate that's coming in for you. But let's look at what kind of person is your soulmate. So we talked about their current energy, but who is this person? Like, who are they? What are their qualities overall? So we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have, yeah, that Seven of Cups. I'm not surprised to see that there, and we'll talk about it in a minute. And the Two of Wands. So, who is your soulmate? I think your soulmate is someone who is very enthusiastic. This is somebody who's like the life of the party. This is also someone who is very eager. And I think that in their eagerness, they tend to take on projects and they tend to commit themselves to things without necessarily fully thinking through it. And I think that's what's gotten them in trouble in the past of, you know what, I said I was going to go, but now I'm not feeling it. And what do I do? So there is a level of this person just being super excited and kind of committing themselves to things and then realizing like, you know what, maybe this wasn't for me. I do think this soulmate is somebody who has the ability to bring a lot of abundance into this world. And if they commit themselves and if they see something through, they have the ability to bring a lot of success. I also think that your soulmate is somebody who is very ambitious, somebody who is very, I keep wanting to say eager, but very excited. Let me pull out a thesaurus. So this person is very excited to try new things. And when they have an idea, and they are invested in that idea, they're all in. It's almost like a hyper focus that they go through where they're all in and they're going to try their best. Again, at times they may be a little bit flaky. I think they are working through that, and I think when you connect to this person, they're going to be in a better place with that overall. Your soulmate is somebody who has a very vast imagination. Their third eye is very open. They're very creative. For some of you, this person could quite literally be an artist of some sort. So they could be into, somebody does tattoos maybe. I just saw a tattoo, like a tattoo artist. They could be an artist. They could, maybe they do like drawing, paintings, music, something in the arts. For some of you, that's not going to be for all of you. So take it if it resonates. But this is someone who doesn't always get the full picture before or think about the full picture before they try something. So that is something that they're working through. But the beautiful thing about that is that this person is always excited and this person is always very optimistic and hopeful. And this person is always willing to try some new things and expand their knowledge. I also think that your soulmate is someone who is very creative. Also, they may create something with their hands. Again, I'm seeing a tattoo artist. That's not going to resonate for everyone. But your soulmate is someone who isn't necessarily somebody who operates from a place of fear. This is someone who is quite adventurous and they can be very spontaneous. And they don't enjoy being stagnant or kind of sitting in the same energy for too long. They're always looking for something else. They're very good at planning for the future, and they're very good at seeing all of the possibilities, but also seeing all of the different perspectives. So this person can very easily see 5 different people's perspectives and understand them. This is somebody who is very understanding, very dynamic, especially when it comes to having a conversation with them. They can be very funny, very open minded. They are very interesting to talk to. I think that this person has a lot of life experience. I would not be surprised if your soulmate is somebody who enjoys traveling to some degree and somebody who has learned about different cultures. Your soulmate is not someone who gets stuck in the past. This is somebody who is very forward thinking. And I think sometimes what gets them in trouble is that they can think a bit too much about the future, where they need to remember to ground into the present moment. And your soulmate is someone who is constantly looking for opportunities to realign themselves to their path. So they're very good at identifying when, I've kind of committed to something that wasn't for me, or I thought this was for me and it's not. They're very good at course correcting. They're very good at saying, maybe I got myself in a bit too deep. Maybe this isn't the right thing for me, which is very good, because you don't want someone who's going to have to see something because they thought it was going to be a good idea and then they realized it wasn't. This is also somebody who can apologize when they've made a mistake or when they did not have enough information and they made an assumption. This feels like somebody who is very good at like saying, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry for that, or like this is how I can make this situation better. But I also think that your soulmate is someone who is constantly looking for ways to move forward and to grow, which is, again, very beautiful. All right, pile number 3. Let's take a look at how is this relationship, this connection, going to differ from previous relationships and connections. You were the only pile that had an extra card in this section. We have the Queen of Wands, Judgment card, 4 of Cups, King of Cups. I love this. All right, pile number 3. So how is this going to differ from previous connections, previous relationships? First and foremost, I've already said this, but this soulmate, this person that's coming in for you, is very open when it comes to offering an apology. This is somebody who knows how to say, I was wrong, and you know what? I'm going to take responsibility and accountability for that. I'm not going to gaslight you. I'm not going to try to blame you. Or we had an argument. I'm not going to use the silent treatment on you. I'm not going to stonewall you. I am going to talk to you and I am going to say, hey, that was my fault. Or I'm going to say, hey, you hurt me and I'm sorry for what I said, but I also need an apology from you, or let's deal with this in some shape or form. Now, your I keep wanting to say future spouse for this reading. Your soulmate is also going to be very creative, very passionate, very present and very involved. And I don't know if for some of you it's that you've kind of dated or been in relationships with people that were disconnected or not as available, or they kind of were not as supportive of your hobbies and interests. But it feels like this is going to be somebody that you are going to share some of your hobbies and interests with, or at the very least are going to respect, and you are going to respect the other person's likes and what the other person is into. This is going to be different from other relationships where I think both of you are going to feel very confident in the relationship. Both of you are going to feel very confident not only about yourself, but about the other person and where the other person stands. This doesn't feel like you have to worry that your partner is going to walk away, or your partner is going to find someone else, or your partner is going to think less of you. This feels like there's a lot of confidence not only in yourself as a result of this relationship, as a result of this connection, but also there's a lot of confidence in the relationship itself. I have to say, this is going to be a relationship, a connection where there's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't necessarily know if it's that you've had connections where it wasn't very joyful, it wasn't very fun, it wasn't very exciting. But in this connection, it feels like excitement. Like we're going to go on dates. We're going to explore things together. We're going to laugh together. We're going to have a good time. It's not all going to be heaviness. I even am getting like, you know what, on a weeknight, let's cook together. Let's have a good time. Let's like download a recipe and like let's try our best, and if it turns out it does, and if it doesn't, we're going to go get takeout. Like it feels very lighthearted and fun, and it feels very encouraging, and it feels like there is a true soul connection. So I don't know, it could be that you've dated people where you didn't quite feel connected to them, or you didn't quite feel like they saw you for who you were, or they accepted you fully for who you are. But this feels like there's going to be a lot of fun here, and there's going to be a lot of romance here. Like this is a connection where we're both going to be romantic, and we're going to do the little things. We're going to get the flowers, the chocolates. We're going to go on the dates together. And this is somebody that is emotionally available. This is somebody who is securely attached, and someone who is supportive, someone who is nurturing, somebody who can listen to you when you're having a hard time, or when you come home from work and you're exhausted and you're, venting. They're not going to just like try to bypass it or solve it for you, or kind of get annoyed or half listen. They're going to be invested in you and in your well-being. And it feels like as a whole there's a lot of balance in this relationship, in this connection, where it's like we're both giving 100%. But when I can't show up and give my 100, the other person is showing up and putting in 150 or 200. And it feels very spiritual in nature. And this is somebody that you're going to see their flaws, and they're going to see yours, but there's still love and understanding at the base of this. Let's take a look at what will the foundation of this, what's the foundation here of this connection, of this relationship with this soulmate that's coming in. We have strength. I love that. We have Queen of Cups. This is a divine counterpart for some of you. We have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. And we have the King of Swords. This relationship is going to be built on mutual understanding and love. I really think that the foundation for this relationship is going to be love, but also understanding one another and being able to connect not only physically and emotionally, but mentally. Somebody that gets me, somebody that understands me. We have communication, we have open dialogue, we can talk to one another, and we can really talk through anything. I also think that both of you are intellectuals, and both of you are very, very wise. And part of the foundation for this connection is that understanding and that respect. Because I'm going to be honest, pile number 3, I don't know that you always find people that kind of get you at that level, or that you feel comfortable with. This feels like a lot of like sexy banter and a lot of like back and forth banter, but it's very it's almost like you both have similar communication styles. It could be that both of your Mercuries are either in the same sign, or they complement each other quite well. But as far as the foundation, right? When we talk about the foundation of this relationship, there's like this, almost like this peaceful foundation, right? Like peace, calm, love, and understanding is what this foundation is going to be built on. And I also think that both of you are going to be incredibly compassionate and loving towards one another. So at the core of this, we truly love one another. We truly show up for one another. And even when my partner is not at their best, I can sit there and say, I've got you because I love you, because I respect you, because I want the best for you. And I also think there's a lot of passion for this connection where, like, physically, intimately, there's a lot of physical intimacy here, and it is a part of the foundation of this relationship where you both feel very comfortable with one another, and you both, like, I think physical touch for this group is going to be incredibly important for the foundation of the relationship. And it could be like hugging, kissing, holding hands, obviously more intimate things that YouTube wants to be a hater and doesn't want me to talk about. But it really feels like you're both highly attuned to one another, not only emotionally, spiritually, but also mentally, and that's going to help the foundation of this relationship. There's a lot of empathy here as well, and a lot of softness and understanding from both sides. I actually love that. That's very sweet. All right, we're going to look at what's the kind of love that you need right now. Like, what kind of love does my pile number 3 need right now that this soulmate is going to offer to you? We have the Devil card, the 3 of Wands, and the Lovers. Okay, pile number 3. So, the kind of love that you need right now is one that is going to be freeing. I don't know if you've dealt with people that have tried to control you, or there's been kind of control issues, dynamics, or power dynamics that were not even in previous relationships. But what you need, pile number 3, is somebody that is really going to, first and foremost, they're going to love you. They're going to show up for you. They're going to choose you. They are going to be open to the relationship, and they're going to be emotionally available. But what you need is a deeply meaningful relationship and type of love. And that's what this soulmate is going to bring in. And I also feel like what you need is a love that is going to encourage trust, union, and vulnerability. And what you need is a healthy type of love where whatever this Devil card is representing for you, because the Devil card can show up with, like, it could be somebody who has an addiction. It could be somebody who's extremely controlling. It could be someone who's like playing mind games. What you need is the opposite of whatever that represents for you. So it's somebody who encourages you to be the best version of yourself, somebody who is not trying to tie you down or control you, someone who's encouraging you to go and live your best life and experience the things that you want to experience. This is about someone who is also going to show you that love doesn't have to be a specific way, that love can be very freeing, that love can be very encouraging, that love can be very soft. It's very interesting. I just noticed we have the Devil here as to the kind of love that you need. And this was Lucifer Morningstar and Chloe Decker from the Lucifer show. And he's quite literally the devil in the show. If you've watched it, great show. If you haven't, highly recommend. Last season was questionable. But anyways. But this feels like somebody who's going to encourage you and give you confidence. And I know that somebody else can't necessarily give you confidence, but I think when we have somebody who is investing their time and energy, and they're proud of us and they love us and they're encouraging us, it can give us the confidence that we need to break free and to do the things that we want to do. And it's almost like this person is a cheerleader for you. This person wants you to be the best that you can be, and they are going to encourage that. So the type of love that you need is one that shows you that your shadow self. And what is the shadow self? Let's talk about the shadow self. The shadow self is the part of yourself that you may deem unlikable or undesirable or unlovable. Those flaws, right? Flaws that you see in yourself that you are not, that you're not excited about, that you're not proud of, that you don't like. The type of love that you need is somebody who's going to see those parts of you and say, you know what, I still love you. And it's kind of endearing that you do that thing. And what are you talking about? I don't see that. I don't know why. I just heard somebody say, like, what are you talking about? Your thighs are beautiful. If somebody has any issues with their thighs, listen, your soulmate is going to love it. Um, but is somebody who's going to help you break free from these stories that you've told yourself, especially if you're the turtle person. I think, especially as we speak, as you're watching this, if you resonate with the turtle, the turtle person is kind of struggling because they're so in it, in the thick of it, that it can be hard to see the reality, right? And I almost feel like for this group, somebody who really appreciates you, and I don't know if this is a group that struggles with body images, but I really get like somebody who really loves and appreciates you for who you are, but also physically. I think is something that is going to be very freeing for this group. And just somebody who is going to, the type of love that you need is somebody who wants something long term and who's going to make plans with you, who is going to include you in their life, and someone who is just optimistic. I really think that. And that's something that even in the current energies was coming through about this lizard person. So for some of you, for most of you probably, the lizard is the person, is your soulmate. Let's take a look. Pile number 3. We're going to look at what are the current obstacles? What's holding this? Why hasn't this come together? What's holding this back? Any obstacles? The King of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Knight of Swords. So I want to call out the obvious one because I saw this divorce certificate and the Ten of Swords here. For some of you, what could be holding this back is either you, your person, both of you have recently ended a connection, and maybe that's what you guys are going through, right? And if you're going through a divorce, if you've recently been through a divorce, or it's just a separation, a breakup from somebody that was significant that you've been through, that you've been with, that could very well be part of the obstacle is, letting that energy clear out, dealing with that. Spirit doesn't want to bring someone in while you're in the thick of something else, or spirit doesn't want to bring you into somebody's life while they're in the thick of it. So that could be quite literally one of the translations here to this. Now I want to call out other things as well, because I think other things are more likely for most of you. Regardless of what this is, there's a new beginning happening for both of these people. There is a transformation. The Ten of Swords is a brand new beginning. It's walking away from something, right? Because I think this deck really beautifully depicts it with that divorce certificate, and this person is walking out of that probably lawyer's office, and it's a brand new beginning. It's a new dawn. It's moving towards something new, and leaving the old where it belongs. And I think that that's part of it. I also think that part of the obstacles here is that both of you are still kind of in the thick of this energy of whatever that Ten of Swords represents. It could be one or both of you, but if I had to bet, I would think it's both of you to some degree. But I also think that you may meet this person out of all 3 piles. If I had to bet, I think you would probably meet this person the soonest, because I think there's a very good chance that you meet this person spring. And as I'm recording this, we are about to go into spring 2025. But I do think for this group, it's timeless. If you're not watching this when I upload it, take it as it resonates. But I do think spring 2025 to summer 2025 can be very significant here for those of you that don't know this person. I also think that part of the reason that you have yet to still connect with this person and meet this person has to do with just other things that are going on. And for some of you, it could be like money issues, career issues, which 2025, hello. I think we're all struggling with some sort of money issue, or at least it's in our little sphere coming up in some way. But I also think that one of the obstacles here is that, and I don't know whoever the lizard person is, because I really get this person is this message is specifically for the lizard. I think the lizard person is trying to find balance between their material world, like the tangible world, and the spiritual world. And as they move through that, they'll be ready to move forward. But I do think there's like quick moving action for this group. And as I said, I would not be surprised if you meet this person before the end of the year. More specifically, spring to summer of 2025. But I also think the energy is a bit scattered for both. But again, a little bit more so for the lizard person. All right, let's get some advice. You also had an extra card here, and this is part of your advice. So let's see. We have unawakened, unaware, 3D, ego, darkness. Your twin flame is not ready yet. So there is confirmation for this group. I think I already said this, but this is probably a divine counterpart for most of you. Then we have outcome, results, conclusion, ending. You will get a resolution. And then we have sacred space, altar, prayer, candles, commune with your own divinity. So for this group, like candle magic can be very helpful. Lighting a candle, even if it's just for self-care. I think with the unawakened, it's confirmation that your divine counterpart, that your soulmate is the one that is not fully ready yet. But I think you're both undergoing a period of transformation, but especially the lizard person. And just know that things are going to work out in the way that they're supposed to. And I think that that's what this outcome card is coming here to say. Not only when it comes to love and relationships, but just in general. There's a big message around that. So I picked an astrology card for you. And this is meant to be advice or energies that you can work with at this time. And we have the first house arrival. Yeah, for some of you, this is coming in sooner than what you realize, but also the first house is the ascendant, and it's about the personality, it's about the self, how you choose to present. And I think that part of the advice here is to really focus on yourself at this time and do what you're being called to do, because everything else is going to fall into place. And I also think that both of these people, again, especially the lizard, is undergoing a period of transformation. And as I said, especially for the lizard, like finding oneself. All right, so let's take a look at your affirmators. First, we have wants and needs. I take stock of my relationships and I'm honest about what I want and need from the people in my life. I note the difference between the two. Wants are negotiable, needs are not. Both may be desired and either may be acquired, but that's getting into the Venn diagram territory, and no one wants to draw one of those, though some of us might need to. I love this card. And that's a reminder. Get clear about what you want and what you need so you are prepared for this connection. But I also think that that's what the lizard is also working on. Then we have curiosity. Meeting new people, I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? I love that. Pile number 3, I want to give you an affirmation that I think is going to be different than the other two, but I think it's perfect for you. My soulmate is on the way to me, and I am open to receiving. That is your affirmation. Claim it in the comments. Use it if you need to. But I think you really need to sit in that energy that this is already happening. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you'd like to share the video, I would highly appreciate it. All the things that YouTube loves that help me out so much. Let me know what else you'd like to see in the comments section below, and I hope to see you soon. I am sending so much love, so many blessings. Bye for now.